Hi guys, it's Jeff. Nice to see everybody here. So, hope you're having a good day. It's been nice here in Maine, sunny, with a few little clouds, but nothing really covering anything. Okay, so yeah, we've been lucky to have really some nice weather here for a change. You know, it's just we had a couple of days of rain, and then it just stopped, and it was a humid time, and then it started to get clear, and so you know, we're having a good string of weather here, and that's unusual really for the state here, but you know, you accept it when you get it, and you know, you bitch about it when you don't. So it's just the way it is here, but it's a good weather period here for the state, and I'm really enjoying it. So I noticed a lot of people have probably noticed that I haven't really said much about what was going on in Ukraine, and that was deliberate because, you know, I was talking about it almost in every video. All right, and when I wasn't talking about it in my videos, I was watching it on the news, and it was Ukraine, 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 Ukraine. I know that I have friends over there, and you know, they're still, actually they're not in Ukraine anymore. They've been moved out to Germany now. They're staying in Germany in a hotel, a really nice hotel. They took some pictures of it, and it's one of the most expensive ones out there, and they stay there for a month or two, and then they have to go somewhere else after. So they're kind of getting, you know, shuffled around a bit, because first they ended up in Georgia, not United States Georgia, you know, country Georgia, and then from there they went to Germany from there. So you know, and so they're safe, and they're eager to try to go back home, but you know, the news over there is still pretty bad. I mean, it's just the fighting is still going on, and President Biden said that he would send precision rockets to the Ukraine people, the military over there, so they can fight some more. And people are worried at the Pentagon that this could escalate things, but they're not opposed to him sending these rockets there. They're going to do that. And you know, everybody's trying to, you know, stand behind Biden, as it were, on this issue here, to offer their support. But you know, it's still a mess there, and really there hasn't been a whole lot to talk about the ground battle. Okay, it's just, you know, it's the same thing all the time. It's the politics behind it that's going on, that's, you know, that really people are frustrated with, because it doesn't feel like, you know, Russia, or not Russia, but you know, Putin really wants to change what he's doing. He doesn't want to end this, okay? And you know, there's a lot of growing unrest amongst the Russian people, that, you know, they didn't want to go this far. They're seeing their children coming home in boxes, and now it's weighing on them more now. It's just sort of like what happened when we went into Iraq under George W. Bush there, dingbat, you know. Okay, when he was president, everybody was all for going to Iraq. Remember how that was? Even though there was people, a minority of people who knew better than that, okay? And if they come out and said anything, you know, they would be, you know, bashed and all that by the right wing, and even get ousted for being, you know, part of the Secret Service or whatever the hell they called it. Remember that? You know, was it Jeffrey? No, I can't think of his name now. It's just, his wife was a CIA operative, and she got ousted. You probably know who I'm talking about. Just her name, I can't remember. But you know, that was because of that. It was because her husband had submitted reports that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and he said that we had no justification to go there. Well, they tried to shut him up any way they could. So that's what went on then. And then after this war went on and on, okay, and then Bush declared victory. He's declared victory, but we weren't coming home. Things were escalating there still. Then people in the country started to say, well, we shouldn't be there anymore. We need to come home. Well, that's what's happening right now in Russia, is that people in Russia are getting tired of this. And I'm getting some of this confirmed by people that, like I said, had left Ukraine, okay? And these people also have friends in Russia. Okay, so this is like what secondhand information, from a friend of my friend is telling me this, okay? And so they're saying that these people are watching stores close up all over Russia, okay? On top of the bodies coming home, the price of food is going through the friggin' roof over there, okay? It hasn't so much crippled their economy yet, but they doubt that by the end of summer, there's going to be much left of an economy, and things are going to really be dire for them over there if this continues into the end of summer. Okay, so a lot of people are mad right now that a lot of things they can't do anymore. In Moscow, there's a huge mall over there. Looks like an American mall. It's a big friggin' mall, one of the biggest. And on any given day, the place is full before the war, okay? Now, half the stores are gone out of there. There's actually video of this on YouTube if you look it up. One of the Russians has walked through the mall with his phone, and he's just recording this, and he posted it on YouTube. And he shows, how many stores are still there, which are just Russian stores. But all the American stores, their doors are closed. The gates are pulled down and they're closed, and there ain't a whole lot there. There's not a whole lot there. It's sort of like the airport mall. I mean, I say the airport mall like you all know what I'm talking about. Those of you who lived in Maine know what I'm talking about. Airport mall is just a small mall that's up here in Bangor that sits near the airport. Okay, and right now they don't have many stores at all inside the mall. At the airport mall, they just have an anchor store and a grocery store. And the area in between, which is the mall, is pretty much, there's nothing there. The only thing that's there is motor bureaus is in there, because they got the space in there, and that's probably the only reason why that section is even still used today. There is a pet shop in there that's still there, okay, but they can't possibly be getting a whole lot of business there. So, anyway, the situation on the Russian ground over there, the civilians, is getting pretty bad, and they're noticing that. And it's worrying people, and it's making people more furious at Putin. They want to see this thing come to an end for a lot of different reasons. But from right now, it doesn't look like it's gonna, anytime soon. So the United States sent an additional $700 million in aid to Ukraine, and for military, and it's pretty. Excuse me. The situation's pretty volatile over there. So what can I say? Another issue here, this Marjorie Taylor Greene, she opened her yap here about the LGBTQ community. And this is from Insider, written by Maya Jankowicz. And she wrote here that Marjorie Taylor Greene is predicting that straight people are going to become extinct in the world here because we're educating people about the LGBTQ issue. Okay? I mean, why don't they just paint a goddamn swastika on her fucking forehead and call it a day? Because, everything she says sounds just like as if Hitler came back as a woman. Christ. This This bitch here doesn't need to be anywhere within yards of our government, okay? She really doesn't belong there at all, okay? She doesn't belong in our government. Our government and her ideals are so opposite of each other. It's like, you know, it's like we're trying to put in Stalin in a democratic system. I mean, forget it. It's not going to work. You know? She wants to live like this, then let her pack her fucking bags and go move to Russia or go move to China, where that stuff over there is accepted, is actually promoted, okay? Let her go live there and see how happy she is living under a regime like that, this stupid bitch. Okay? I'm so sick of hearing, you know, mud coming out of her mouth every time she talks about something. It's stupid, you know? People in America are smarter than that, okay? Yeah, there's a handful out there that don't want to capitulate, don't want to move or change or evolve in their thinking. She's one of them, okay? And people who follow her are just like her, okay? They're just like her, because if they got balls enough to follow and listen to somebody like that and applaud the things she says, they too don't belong in this country. They really don't. And I don't know why, you know, Disney sits on its hind quarters here and lets politicians in this country ride roughshod over them. They got the money to shut these people down, okay? But instead, you know, they get attacked by death sentence there down in Florida, okay? And they don't say anything. And I'm saying bullshit to that. You know, go on the offensive. You know, Disney, stand up for yourself. I mean, go after this bastard. You know, show these people what he is. Christ. The same thing with her. All these friggin' Nazi wannabes here that are floating around in our political system, they need to be attacked every friggin' day. They have to be attacked. And I mean relentless. They have to know that, look, this ain't the country to come out and say stuff like that. If you feel that way, keep it to yourself. Don't go around spouting more racist bigotry, encouraging people to, you know, cross the line and follow what you're doing. Don't do that, because that's all that accomplishes. That's all it's going to accomplish, is increase the hatred of a certain segment of our population, which I don't know if there's any law in this country against that sort of thing. I mean, can I go out on the middle of the street and talk about, you know, bring up race hatred, you know, and all that stuff, and, you know, just, I mean, where the hell do we draw the line? I mean, is that constructive speech? Is that something that people need to hear? You know, shit. If we let a politician go around saying stuff like that, then why the hell, you know, why do we, you know, go after civilians going out there and saying stuff like that, you know, on a stage somewhere? I mean, I think there has to be a law there, you know, a defamation thing or something like that. So these people, you know, ought to be sued, especially her, for every time she comes out and says something that, you know, whatever, you know, defamation to a certain group of people. I mean, they ought to just have a class action lawsuit and bury her ass, okay, and drag her through court after court after court, okay, until she's penniless. That'll shut her big mouth up, okay, because when the press comes out and tries to ask her questions about, oh, when you said this, she'll say, no comment, no comment. Well, that's how you put a gag on that woman's mouth. It's when she's facing, you know, the end of her economic stability. Okay, because that's all that matters to the GOP anyway, is money, 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 money. That's all that they care about. All right. So when you take the money away from them, okay, then they get pissed. Then they start to learn something. So I think that's what they ought to do with Marjorie Taylor Greene, to shut her up for once and for all by all the people that she slams in this country getting together and suing the shit out of her. Okay. You have to do something. Even if it's a long shot, you got to try. You have to try and do something. And at least when you got a class action lawsuit, okay, you get the combination of all people's income together to go and drag her through this thing, okay? Let her try and fight her way out of that, okay? Freedom of speech comes with a price. It does. Whether people want to believe that or not, it does. If you want to go out there and slander people right and left by saying some nasty crap, then you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it, because people are going to get mad. They'll go and stone your house or beat you up or something like that. Hey, they're not going to guarantee that you can say the stuff and not get hurt. So that's what I'm saying, is that, you know, we have to set an example. That if you're going to go around talking dirt, you know, slinging mud, then there's going to be a price to pay for it. And don't talk to me about freedom of speech, okay? Because no law is being broken if we drag you into court to sue you for defamation of character, okay? There's no law. We're not breaking any law. That's a protected right, okay? So you can call it what you want, you know, but you have to understand that, you know, freedoms only go so far until you cross the line. And when you do that, that's when you get in trouble. And these people here, they love to talk about their right to bear arms and all that. Well, you know, that right, they've crossed the line many times, and way over the line, okay? Way over the friggin' line. In the face of pure defiance of what's going on around them, they got the balls to come out and still stand by that stupid right that they've misinterpreted for decades in this country, okay? They've tried to throw the wool over our eyes over what that means, okay? And thankfully, there's a lot of people out there who understand that Second Amendment a lot better than they do, and have pointed out in more ways than one just how wrong the right wing is and how they interpret that, okay? But does anybody, like somebody like in the Supreme Court, I mean, do they say anything about it? No, they let this thing go on, you know, they let it go on. So it's like, well, you can interpret it your way any way you want, we don't care. It's like, well, what the hell purpose is there to have a thing spelled out on a piece of paper as a right that we're supposed to stand behind if you're not going to back it up, okay? You might as well take a big fat eraser and just erase that right out of there, because it don't matter. We make up our own rights in our head. Jesus, you know, that's what they're doing. They carve their own inscriptions into that piece of paper, and in their mind, that's considered canon. Okay, that's it. You know, as like people like to say, head canon. Well, that's what they do. They got their own head canon as to what the Constitution says and doesn't say, and they live by that. So I mean, if they made like a little pamphlet of the Republican version of this Constitution, and you pick up the way it's actually written, you're going to find there's a lot of differences there through each one, that they're not looking at this the way that it's supposed to be looked at. And that right there will show you just how twisted their thinking is around this country, you know. So I just say, you know, this is ridiculous. She's going around there telling people this crap. And she's, let me see what is in the article here. She says, the author here of this story says, Green predicted that identifying as heterosexual will be a thing of the past within a period of less than 200 years, thanks to LGBTQ inclusive sex educators who she called trans terrorists. Boy, they love to use those, you know, gaslighting words, you know what I'm saying? I want to ask her this, okay? Since humanity began, okay, does she think that this LGBTQ phenomena happened overnight, that it happened just in the 20th century? Or is it more plausible that the LGBTQ diversions in our species have always been there? Okay, it's just that over time people have tried to hide from being gay or transgender or what, you know what I'm saying? They kept it to themselves, and they pretended to be straight in order to fit in with society, and that was what was going on for a long time. But the fact is, there's probably not as many straight people in the world as people think. Okay, there's probably a whole lot more of the LGBTQ community out there than most people are prepared to even want to accept. Okay, and maybe she is sitting here talking about something that doesn't even exist anymore. That maybe, you know, the straight people are fewer in number, and that everything that's been going on for all these millennia here with humanity, okay, that's all been part of normalcy. You know, it's like nature. Nature has a way of creating diversity in everything that makes up nature. Different weather patterns, different types of animals, different types of plants. You know, think about it. So why not different types of humans? You know, what would be wrong with that? I mean, if we accept all the other things as if it's just part of life, then why can't we accept the thing about, you know, humans having different kinds of things? You know what I'm saying? Why do we have to come down so hard on that? Or at least, why does she have to come down on that? Like it's something that happened just recently. Like, oh, you know, people are, you know, they're just, the people born that way are devils and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of what she's saying here. Anybody that's born like that, other than straight, is twisted by the devil or something like that. I mean, I've heard as much said, you know, from evangelists, you know, on TV and stuff like that, you know, when you hear them rant about crap and then ask you for $50 at the end. Okay, these people, they live in a bubble of their own creation, where only what they think is right and wrong, and everything else is just, no, it's wrong, it's evil. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Dear CEO, what's it gonna take for you to do something? Yeah, do you even care?
Climate change affects all of us.
This is your chance to do something good.
This one is about the MAGA rallies, the presidential rallies that President Trump is so famous for.
He said every child's name that was shot and rang a bell for them. Now that is what a president does.
What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women, that's looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way?
This is not about virtue cycling and signing.
Fear of being stigmatized.
Fake meat that grows in a Peachtree dish.
And there are 300-something million people, 400 million guns. You don't see that as a problem?
No.
Let me tell you the truth about the enemies of the Second Amendment. They are schooled in the ways of Marx and Lenin.
These are the exact same people that want to murder unborn children in the womb by dismemberment all the way up to birth. But yet now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that they care about children.
It's the gun-free school zones, Tucker. Those are the biggest problems.
At the end of the day, we're going to look at the people who do these acts, we're going to convict them, and we're going to punish them.
Sir, you can't convict him. He was killed.
He's dead.
He was killed along with 19 children in the school behind me.
Hi, I'm Mike Crispy, and I'm running for U.S. Congress because we need to put election integrity first. That starts with ending ballot drop box.
He's a tough guy. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to run into a nest of illegal aliens that happen to like knives very much.
There has been still no evidence or proof provided that there was any sort of fraud in that.
Well, no, that's wrong. I don't know why you people in the media keep saying that, but that is absolutely false.
My roommate said, "Gee, Shelley, your skin looks really good. It couldn't be because of Dove." I said, "Jen, it must be."
We asked women to give up their soap and use Dove for 7 days.
I had some dry spots right here. After using Dove for 7 days, they're gone.
Dove contains 1/4 moisturizing cream. Its non-soap formula won't dry your face like soap.
Everybody wants to look touchable. With Dove, my skin feels wonderful.
City News, Mr. Keebler. Can you tell us what your new sandwich cookies look like? No comment. Well, we hear they've got creamy fillings. No comment.
Keebler introduces new EL Fudge Sandwich Cookies. Buttery cookies with creamy fudge. Chocolatey cookies with peanut butter middles. And chocolatey cookies with vanilla cream.
We hear they're all delicious.
They are? Oh, were you talking to the cookie?
The cookie? No comment.
New EL Fudge Sandwich Cookies from...
Little cinnamon gum freshens breath longer than Big Red.
So kiss a little longer, stay close a little longer, hold tight a little longer, longer with Big Red. That Big Red freshness lasts right through it. Your fresh breath goes on and on. While you chew it, say goodbye a little longer, make it last a little longer. Give your breath long-lasting freshness with Big Red.
If I'm beaten and raped in the state of Texas, I have to give birth to the baby of my rapist. If I am raped by my father, brother, or uncle and get pregnant in the state of Texas, I have to give birth to the baby of my family abuser. This new law is so draconian that I can be prosecuted for having an abortion, and so can my doctors, friends, and family who advise me, or even the Uber driver who simply drives me to the clinic. This is madness. The same people who have been protesting and screaming, "My body, my choice," when it comes to the COVID vaccine, are now saying I don't have any control over my own body. Texas Republicans won't require a 12-year-old girl to wear a mask in school that may save her life and the lives of other children, but they will force her to keep a baby regardless of how she got pregnant, including rape and incest. I am a woman, and I have a constitutional right to make decisions for my own body. I am a woman, and I have a human right to refuse to give birth to my rapist's baby. I am a woman. This is my body. I am a woman. This is the United States of America. I am a woman. You do not own or control my mind or my body.
My body is my choice.
Shame on the men and women who passed this law, and shame on anyone who sits in silence while women suffer and die because of it.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So, I was ranting here on Marjorie Taylor Greene and this nasty shit she's talking about here. You know, slamming people who, through no fault of their own, okay, are living a life that was from birth, okay? And scientists have already shown that a person can mentally be a male or female, but their body might be otherwise, okay? Call that a flaw in nature? I don't know what it is, okay? It might just be normal, a normal thing, okay? I mean, maybe, you know, with all the pollution in our environment, maybe, you know, it might play a factor into it. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about LGBTQ. I'm just saying that, hypothesizing that, you know, maybe a lot of other things could be involved in it. But the fact is, these people that come out, they still think, they still have feelings, they still have ambitions, just like everybody else, okay? It's just different for them sexually, okay? And the fact is that we shouldn't punish them for it. We should just try and understand it, you know, and maybe learn something from it. Maybe we'd find out, that it's all normal, that it's been going on for hundreds of centuries, and that perhaps, it's just another part of our evolution, from when we used to walk like apes to where we are now, and now from here we're going to evolve even more into something different. Maybe she is right. Maybe straight people are going to be extinct. Maybe that's the cost of evolution, is that the part of the fat of humanity is going to get cut off in favor of something different. That way we're forced to accept diversity, whether we like it or not. And that's what scares the shit out of her, out of Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what scares the living hell out of somebody like that. Is she's going to be in a corner. But I mean, 200 years from now, she ain't going to be around. She's just going to be dust on our feet. But the thing of it is that she's afraid that, one day we're going to be in a corner and we're not going to be able to do anything about it. And, straight people are just going to go the way of the dinosaur. Well, if that's what happens, that's what happens. Okay? I mean, I've heard people from the black community getting upset about, we shouldn't have interracial marriages and stuff. Well, what if that's supposed to happen too? You know what I'm saying? You can't stop people falling in love, for God's sake. I mean, if two people can, I mean, why should you put your hand in the middle of that while they're trying to kiss? You don't stop that. Okay? Nobody gave you the right there to tell who can pair up with who. All right? Jesus. Just leave them the hell alone. And if it does eradicate, different diversity in our culture, to streamline it into something different, then that's evolution too. Okay? You can't control that as much as you want to fight it. Okay? You can't control it. Okay? People should have learned by now that when nature talks, things move. Okay? You can't stop it. You can't use your petty technologies and all this shit to stop what is. Okay? The wind blows, the sun comes up and goes down every day, the moon is in the sky. It's going to be that way whether you like it or not. Okay? That's just how it is. So what you do is you just roll with the punches as they come. That's what you do. Because we're not, what do you call it? We're not gods, okay? We're far from it. We're just still, pebbles in the sand. And we get kicked around by the wind and we get stepped on. We can't stop that. And Marjorie is living in a dream world if she thinks she's going to stop what she thinks is going to happen. If it happens, then it happens. Okay? You can't cry your tears about it or anything like that, because for a lot of us, we ain't going to be around anyway to know what the hell happened. So what the hell do you care for now? Okay? Just leave things alone. Leave future generations alone. Let them live their life just as we wanted to live ours when we started off. Live your own life. Let them live their own life. Okay? People like her are a dinosaur in themselves, because they try to hold us back while we try to step forward. Okay? And the thing that I've known about humanity is that we have a need to evolve, to step forward, to take these steps forward. And if we're not free to do that, we get frustrated. We start to, beat on ourselves and things like that. Because we're not meant to stay where we are at any given time. We're meant to continue to go forward. All right? And if the Republicans can't accept that, then, they're a dying breed anyway. Okay? Their way of thinking is not gonna last forever anyway. And I think that's another thing that they're scared shitless about, is that conservatism in America, as far as I can say, their days are numbered. Okay? Because I'll tell you, from all the last 5 or 6 presidential elections, okay, if you look at the popularity votes, okay, that the president's got, even if we ended up with a Republican as president, the majority, the popular vote always went to the Democrat, okay, who was running. And the only reason why the Republican wins is because they get the electoral votes, okay? And which to me, I don't understand that, okay? It should be majority vote wins, okay? That's the way it should be. This electoral college crap they got going here sounds to me like a system that's got cheat baked into the system. That somebody put that in there just to deliberately make it difficult for the majority to get their way. Okay, and to me that's wrong. But if just go back into the history of the elections, that at least in the last 60, 70 years, okay, and find out how many times the majority of the country actually wanted a Republican as president. And I don't think you're going to find that many times. That even though we ended up with a Republican as president, the majority of the country actually wanted a Democrat. So that tells me right there that, conservatism is dying out. And they know this. They have to know this, okay? They can't be stupid and blind at the same time and ignore the facts. Because how are they going to know what to do if they try to ignore it? The fact is that their political thoughts on things, okay, are not very popular anymore because people are trying to evolve. Humanity is trying to evolve. And like I said, you can't stop it. You can't stop that. You're always going to have a cluster of mindless toothpicks out there that think that they can hold the reins back on progress, but for how long? Progress is progress. It's meant to go forward. Okay, conservatism is something that stands still, and humanity can't stand still. If we did, we'd still be living in caves right now, right? Dressing in loincloths and beating women over the heads with clubs to marry. That's where we would be if conservatism always got its way. But it doesn't work that way because people have a need to evolve. It's almost instinctual. Look, I'll just take for example, anytime I buy something, okay, whether it's just a bottle of water or I don't know, you name it, okay, once in a while I'll think, well, how could they make this better? There's always something wrong with things that it's not like, well, it's fine, but it could be better this way or it could be better that way. Same thing with your cell phone. Always come out with a new version of a friggin' iPhone and people run to the stores to get it, okay? All right. Again, everyone's got a need to advance, to progress, okay? And even though Republicans like to be conservative, they're at the same time they enjoy the fruits of progress too. A lot of these people walk around with the same kind of stuff that the rest of us have, and they enjoy it, and they wouldn't give it up. They wouldn't give it up. They wouldn't give up their laptops and computers and their kitchen appliances and all that stuff. No. Okay? So where they want to stay is relative to them still wanting to have their cake and eat it too, as it were. Okay? They still want to have their progressive things, their tools, their gadgets and all that stuff. But socially, they want us to be stagnant. And if you stagnate a whole society, then you're not going to have your cell phones and your laptops and your computers, okay? The rest of the world would pass us by, all right? And that's why I'm saying their idea, their philosophy on things and, what they want to do doesn't match with the American spirit. And a lot of times when these people like her talk about these things like straight people facing extinction, they may not really be believing in that themselves. They're saying that probably because their base wants to hear it, okay? That she's probably saying that to keep support for herself, so that way, when she needs their vote, they'll give it to her. So she probably doesn't believe that, okay? I don't know. She's weird. She's never said anything that made any sense to me since her face showed up in politics. Okay, so maybe she does believe it. I don't know. You can't know what's in someone's heart when they're talking. But all I can say is that there are people that follow her, believe what she says, and will clap and applaud over it. And at least some of those people actually believe that stuff. And that's what I'm talking. That's who I'm talking to, is these people that really think that we ought to be like that. Just stagnant. We shouldn't have had a NASA. We shouldn't have had this. We shouldn't, a lot of things, we wouldn't have today if we didn't take the time to try to advance our lives. A lot of medications, you're gonna condemn people to die for things that we can cure. Is that what you want to do? Maybe that's the reason why they didn't want to wear a mask. Maybe by wearing a mask, they figure they're artificially prolonging their life when they should be dead. It's like, well, hey, if that's what you think, go right ahead and do what you want, because the fewer of you, the better. You know, you know. And you know, I feel like that's kind of like the attitude I get, is that these people will die, you know, thinking the way they think. And I wonder, you know, how stupid does someone have to be to wait till they're on their deathbed and make a video telling people it's real, the COVID is real, don't listen to the other people, you know, and then they die the next day. How many times have we seen that? You know, YouTube has got a whole bunch of videos up there of people who were Republican on their deathbed telling people, begging them to take heed of what, you know, Dr. Fauci and everybody was telling them to do. It's not worth it. Okay, the suffering they go through with that at the end is more than they can bear. Okay, it's a prolonged death, and they just, you know, they realize too late how stupid they were to convince people not to take care of themselves. Okay, and a lot of those people right now, I mean, if there's justice in this universe, they're getting their punishment for whatever the hell they, you know. But like I said, it's sad that we have so many people who simply want to pull the reins back, no matter how many lives it costs. Another thing here, the gun shootings and stuff is another way of them saying no progress there. Okay, now you could say, well, they're motivated by influence from gun lobbyists, money and stuff like that. That's true. Okay, a lot of them are. But what about the ones that aren't getting money from these outfits, and they're just the ones spending the money to get the guns and all that? So what do you think makes them continue to believe what they hear the politicians say? That they really do believe it. Okay, they're not just pretending, they do believe it. They really do believe that, you know, we need to keep the guns out there and that people need to have them. Okay, certainly what happened in Texas here a week ago could be viewed as a sales pitch for more people to go buy guns. Why? Because there were 150 police officers all armed, and they waited an hour before they went into that school to rescue the kids. If I was an NRA member, I would say that's the reason why we need to have people armed, because when the cops don't do anything, you have to. And by my saying that would kind of like say, well, I'm inciting, you know, a riot, basically, to go out and, you know, use your gun and do whatever the hell you want. Okay, but the NRA stopped short of doing that, just that, when they had their rally here last week. Okay, where only Trump and Ted Cruz there showed up. Okay, they stopped short of telling people that. But like I said, if you look at that, the incident, okay, whenever, you know, I know they've amended their damn story here like 17 ways from Sunday, but the fact is, what's been consistent is that the number of cops that were there and how many of those cops were arresting parents and telling them to stay back, using the threat of taking their gun out to stop people from going in there to rescue their kids. They had one woman that actually snuck by the cops and went in there and got her kid and left. And then a few cops actually got their kids out, didn't take any other kids out, okay? But aside from that, okay, the fact that the cops were there and there was just one kid with 2 rifles, 2 AR-15s, okay, and 150 cops felt like they shouldn't go in there because they were outgunned. And they've been changing their story since the day it happened about why that happened, why these cops didn't go in there, what prevented them from going in there from immediately when they got there, what the hell went on. And we found out, up to this point, that everything that was initially reported to the news from whoever that guy was there, I guess the chief of police, was a fucking lie. Okay, because they've been changing and amending that damn piece by piece by piece, that everything he said didn't happen, at least not the way he said it did. Okay, so now we know that we were being fed bullshit. But what's been the same here, they haven't changed, is the number of cops who were there, who could have gone and stormed the school, got the guy out and saved the kids. There would have been fewer deaths. Okay, but like I said, on the right wing, You got people saying, no, 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 we want to have guns. We want to go back to, the Wild West. Everybody armed to the teeth and let them take care of matters. Okay, again, that yank by the conservatives, the conservatives wanting to hold us back from evolving away from uncivility to being, people who still have dignity and still want to be civil, who want to live a life that they have a right to that doesn't include gun violence. People shouldn't have to fear worrying about getting shot if they go get groceries. People shouldn't have to fear getting shot if they're going to Best Buy to buy some crap. Okay, they shouldn't have to feel like they're under, that there's always a threat that that they need to wear bulletproof vests everywhere they go. Shit. I mean, how many different ways can we explain to the Republicans that, if we're Americans and we're supposed to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, there's no better way to promote that than making a safer society, okay? And the more dangerous it is, and the more violent it becomes, you're taking all that away from us. You're taking all that away from us. And, the rest of the world sees that, and they shake their head and they can't understand why we don't see it, okay? They don't understand why we don't see it. The fact is, a lot of us do see it. The majority does see it, but in this friggin' government, the way it's set up, the minority can have all the clout to make things possible, okay? They do. The Republicans really do have their hands in all the friggin' cookie jars, and they can do what they want, even if they're the minority party. And the Democrats, for whatever reason why they can't overcome that obstacle, I don't know, okay? If they don't have political clout, one wonders why they even win anything. Okay, why even Biden? One wonders how he got elected president. You would think of all the times to want to push their fat around, the Republicans would have done something to see to it that Biden didn't win. But all I can think of is maybe the Republicans weren't so happy with Trump either, and they were happy to see him lose anyway. So, maybe that's the reason why Biden is in there. So I don't know, but here, that's the thing, is that we don't really have a representative government anymore. Okay, I mean, you look at the populations of each state, okay, and you're going to find something peculiar there. Why so many senators for this state that has fewer people than this state who has more, and they have more representatives? I mean, what I'm saying? Why is there such a difference there? I mean, you shouldn't have this, equal amount of senators, okay, depending on population, so that it matches, it looks right, like for a state that has a small population, 1, maybe 2 senators, and a state with a big population would probably have 4, maybe 5. I mean, wouldn't that make more sense? I mean, it's supposed to be, how many people per senator, I guess that's how they figure it out. But again, I mean, that's just, something to think about. But we have a problem in our government, and I think it's time that, we need to sit down and say, okay, look, this is the 21st century now. We need to think about the logic here now of a lot of these things that we put into place way back in the founding, to see how many of those things need to be modified for today's times, for the number of people. And nobody should be afraid of that. But, I got a feeling that because our country's so divided now, that we would never be able to settle on anything concerning that. And it would just be one big fight after another, and they would never end, because everybody would want to be pulling the country in these big ways. We want more communism, and the other side, we want more, what I'm saying? So they're not going to sit and go step by step, rule by rule, in there and see what needs to be adjusted. No, they're just going to crumple the whole damn thing up and say, no, we're starting over from scratch. You see, and that would lead to civil war. So, we're really, as a country, as a government, we're really trapped here, with what we got. And the thing is the trap is falling apart around us, and we don't know how to get out of it. We've boxed ourselves into a problem here. And it would help a lot if the right wing wasn't in the way, okay? If they were out of the picture, we could get ourselves out of this corner. But because they're in front of us all the fucking time with their stupidity, Okay, they make it very difficult for this country to progress. And what's going to happen when you try to stop it? You know, you're going to have a country that's anger is building and building and building and building to things like what happened on January 6th, the riot. There'll be a lot more incidents like that as we continue forward and keeping the country held back all the time. Okay, you can't stop progress. It will come out fighting eventually. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. And keep your ears open for your local COVID-19 news, okay? Whether there's more people getting sick or not, it's interesting to hear, you know, because that'll tell you if the virus is picking up speed or whatnot. So, comment and subscribe. I'd like to hear from y'all. And so, I hope you get some good weather coming your way if you're not getting it now. So, take care, everybody.